gentlemen, hello everybody. How's it going? Good to see everyone. Dave Neal here. How's everyone in the chat? I saw you. Saw everyone out there having fun doing your thing. I just realized I don't have a... Oh, I feel naked out here. I don't have my little live button up. Oh, could you imagine? Wow, I feel so much better. Woo, boy. I took a shower. I did some push-ups. I took a 10-minute nap. I'm really living my life today, folks. I have a stand-up show tonight, and it's far away. And I volunteered to pick someone up on the way to the show, someone I don't even know, which I didn't want to have to do that. I prefer to drive alone, listen to my thoughts. So I have to leave right at 5. Right at 5, your boy's got to go. So I want to make this fun. I want to get in the right mood. Hello, Hunter. Janelle Hills, rocking the baby to sleep, I hear. Very nice, Elizabeth. Good to see you. Stephanie, Cora. Everyone's doing well. The family's doing fine, I believe. Tasha's at work. Her feet are sore. We are preparing for our trip, which we're going on pretty soon. Haley, how are you, Haley? What a beautiful photo. Haley's got the nice little gardening hat on right there, right? Or is that's white girl brunch hat? Gotta love a good white girl brunch hat. Oh, get out of the way if a girl's got that hat on and she's going to brunch. Let me tell you, especially if she's doing bottomless mimosa, you better get out of her way. Michelle Lambert's in the house. Hello, how are you? We're populating the chat. Do yourself a favor and bump your Adam and Eves on top of that like button, if you don't mind. Do a little Bachelor in Paradise talk today. We'll do a little Katie Thurston talk. I'm going to also talk about the tweets. We'll talk about the tweets. I'm not going to go long on the tweets because I understand that, you know what I've learned is the live stream format isn't the best place to have difficult conversations because I don't get to interact with people on a one-on-one. Comments are coming and going. It's a lot. It's like you ever see those tennis ball machines that shoot the tennis balls out? That's what it feels like. That's not good. We like good conversations. So I was supposed to release my Reality Steve podcast today. There's no reason why it wasn't released other than this. We recorded it yesterday. I go this morning. I get up at 6 so I can make this video, this tweet video, because I knew it was gonna be a busy day today. And I go to export the video, the Reality Steve interview that I did, but because I used a different type of green screen software, it was going to take 3 hours to just export it, not even upload it to YouTube. And I was like, I just don't have the time. I got to use my computer. If I'm going to be exporting something on my editing software, I can't make content. There's not enough processing power to do both. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna delay all the content I want to make today because the Reality Steve interview is more evergreen in the sense that it's not like breaking news. So that will be tomorrow. Hopefully, I'm going to export it. As soon as I'm done and sign off the live stream, I'm going to hit the export button so that can run for 3 or 4 hours or however long it takes to export it. Kylie said, yeah, listening tomorrow will be a good start to the weekend. Yeah, I mean, we had a good chat. I'm going to post I think tomorrow for the Patreon community. How do I make this smaller? I'm going to post like a recap of everything. Not like reviewing everything we said, but like just the vibe. We're going to recap the vibe after. I have to say, I mean, like the guy, for all of the mistakes he's made where he's apologized for and pledged to do better and make new mistakes and apologize for those and new sources. We talked about the ethics of sourcing. We talked about the ethics of sourcing your material, your information, your spoilers. I thought it was very interesting. We talked about how he was sued 10 years ago by Bachelor. I won't get into the whole story now, but going from lawsuits where you do what's right and wrong legally to then the moral issues, what's right and wrong morally, what's too much collateral damage to someone's personality, and things like that. So it was very fascinating, I believe. I haven't received one criticism from my chat on his podcast. We'll see if I receive any from his chat on mine. We'll have to see. I'm always open to hearing if people think I've dropped the ball in some way. Natalie says, you're going to tell us who dropped the $50 for Boone. You want me to tell you who dropped the $50? Well, okay, so what Natalie's asking is I received a Venmo donation for $50. $50 from someone I had never really spoken to before, and they donated because they watched my vlog and saw that my car battery was stolen. Now listen, I'm not going to tell you who donated the $50 because I think that would be really rude since I wanted to keep it private. So you'll just have to guess who it is, okay? Are we all good there? Did we get that? And again, for the other people that have donated to Boone's Cause and all these other things, I thank all of you guys so much. Natalie, Tasha and I tried our cups for the other time. Natalie sent us some cups, you know, they're suction cups that go, the cupping that you do. And it was good. I need to get it. I feel like this is where, I don't know where women, women and men obviously will hold their tension, and everyone holds their tension in different places in the fascia, in like, and also like, not just fascia, but, what's it called? Cellulite and all that in different places. I get right here, and I think it's from baseball, like the muscle that connects my chest to my arm is like so tight right here. I've been told this by so many people. So I've been trying to become more flexible, but I already am flexible. Like that's pretty flexible, right? I'm going pretty far back. I don't know. I'm pretty flexible there. I don't know. You know what I mean? But it's like, even as flexible as it is, oh boy, does it hurt. Woo, it feels good. It feels good. All right. So you guys got the hint. It was his battery. He said he will share on Patreon. Oh yeah, I didn't share it on Patreon yet. I'll talk about it more on Patreon. All right, so you guys got the answer. Okay. All right, good to know. What a sweetie. Yeah. Katie texted me and she wanted to know who it was, which is funny because it's like I had information she needed. Where normally she has all the info that we need, so it's kind of nice to be like, I'm not going to tell. Yeah, like I don't think Michael, like I could see someone in Bachelor Nation trying to buy me, I could see someone trying to like put in a PR campaign to like be nice to me just so I don't say mean things to them. But I also don't really try to say mean things to people, so I'm hoping it was just a good deed, I don't know. Hunter says he's legit perfect. Well, if he's single, you know where to go. What is he in Missouri? Is that where he is? Trying to get back to the comments here. Trying to get back to the top of the comments here. YouTube canine massage. Give Boone some help with his healing. Oh, that's a great idea. Give Boone a nice little canine massage. I didn't think about that. Posing for TSA at the airport. Yeah. Yeah, you got it. Absolutely. Do the whole doorway standing in. Yeah, I do that. But it's like extra. I pitched my whole life, so I've done a lot of that. My whole life. I like to do this when I'm hitting the like button. Do you guys ever do that? Here's an exercise. You have to hit it an odd number of times. Just keep on hitting the like button until YouTube, shuts us down. Kid Latchkey says, "Do you talk about Bachelorette in your stand-up?" I actually have a new joke I've been opening with. That maybe I'll share tonight's set with you guys. At least the opening joke. The problem is so many sets are repetitive. You work on the same sets. You work on the same bits on and off for years. Sometimes until it's done or until it's recorded or until you get sick of it. So I've got jokes that like if I were to share with you the last 10 sets I did, there's probably 25 different minutes of material, but there's a lot of repeats within those sets. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, I got a new Bachelorette joke that I've been working on. It's a combination of an old joke and a kind of a new misdirect. Half of that is Natalie's son. Good to see you, my man. Thanks for joining the live. We got the whole family out there. PP says, your breakdowns of people's forms throwing a football or baseball are hilarious. Well, good to know. Yeah, I mean, Dave, a lot of, there's a lot of, if you want to talk about, well, you know what? Let's do this. Let's get right into this conversation because it's going to bleed through. I'm going to talk briefly, very briefly. I'm going to try not to even read your comments here because like I said, it can be too much, but I'm going to talk briefly about the Justin Glaze tweets that were unearthed and the Andrew Spencer tweets that were unearthed. I thought about this when we were talking about baseball because within baseball, and don't get me wrong, baseball's got a very there's a homophobic culture to it. There's like zero openly gay baseball players, which statistically is just like bananas, right? And I've never played baseball with an openly gay baseball player. I don't know why. That's just how sports are. It'll be the last frontier of the kind of like of gay norms within culture and all that. But having played baseball in California, New York, New England, and different places, I've taken pitching advice from guys from the Dominican and Mexico. I played baseball with a guy that did hard time, and he was in a Mexican gang from Mexico, and he played in a Mexican professional baseball league. So like I've played with guys, you know, a ton, like my baseball team is so diverse is the point. So diverse. Way more diverse than U.S. statistics are with diversity. And there is something amazing that happens. We go and travel every year to play in a competitive adult baseball league. And there's something amazing that happens every year where like we got like there's a couple Latino guys that literally fly in from Miami. They're I'm trying to think. One's Dominican. I think one's Dominican, one's Puerto Rican. They fly in to the West Coast from Miami because we have our baseball coach is pretty wealthy, so we'll just like fly in people from all over for this tournament. So they fly in. We're all cooking dinner together under a house. They're flying in, making fun of the white guy's lack of seasoning. The black guy is making his. We're all making different foods. Is the point? And it's just like, oh, this is great. This is amazing because we're able to like trust in each other. We're all there for love. We all have the same common denominator, which is a bunch of guys that love baseball. We don't even all speak the same language. Some of these guys don't even speak English, and we're all just like getting along. It's truly an amazing thing. So for me, when I talk about like having empathy for others, it's easy. It's easy when you're put into situations where you realize we're all just trying, or we're all just trying. But I say that coming from a place where I'm well aware of who I am as like a white guy. And on paper, this is not somebody who's going to tell someone else about their hardships. So anyway, it's very hard to go through videos like this and talk about these tweets. We're talking about these guys were 14 years old to 19, I believe. And in this tweet specifically, I was criticized, and that's fine. I'm okay with it. I was criticized for not disavowing what was being said here. So he's saying, you can't date a girl with so he can't date a girl if she's as dark as Flavor Flav, which he's a, obviously black rapper, right? Flavor Flav. So this specific tweet, I read his along with maybe 5 or 6 other ones right after it and did like a blanket sort of addressing of it. And the criticism I received was that I wasn't denouncing it, I guess. And that's fair. I just thought that was common. I thought that was like if I didn't, and I didn't rewatch it, but if I didn't denounce it, I am now. There is an issue with lighter skinned people not wanting darker skinned. It has to do in some parts with Hollywood. Every movie you watch from like the 90s, the dark skinned guy was the bad guy. That's just how it was. The Somali, that's how it was. And there's a million factors. I'm not educated enough to talk about each one of them, why this is that way. But colorism and things like that, the science behind it all, way over my head. The science behind why people act the way they do, why there's, within the Asian community, Asian men have just been looked at as not like a lead, like a love object. You know what I mean? So Asian women would be fetishized by white guys being like, oh, I'm going to get myself an Asian woman, but there's no white woman saying I'm going to get myself an Asian man. That's a conversation that what biases have been imprinted on us that make us even think that way. Beauty's beauty. It's in the eye of the beholder and all that jazz. So the show has been called out by Rachel Lindsay in the past for only putting on black guys that are attracted to white women. And I can't speak to the data behind that, anecdotally at best, but it is important that Justin, even though these tweets are over a decade ago, talks about this. This is important that it's talked about. So I gave grace to Justin and Andrew for saying, hey man, I understand who you were 10 years ago isn't who you are now. You probably learned a lot. Terrible receipts. I gave grace to them. There also needs to be grace given to the people that read this now and the color of your skin doesn't line up with what either the culture or Justin's tweets want it to be, you know, I have to give grace to those people as well. I guess the logic or the sort of place that I come from is that I thought that was given. You know, I mean, I make videos nonstop, and in every video, I can't relitigate every single, like, and this is what I stand for, and this is what I stand for. But and I'm not saying that as an excuse. It is important to say on videos like this, when you're making fun of things like this, like, nip this in the bud right now. But at the same time, there is a delicate place where I don't know what the agreed upon place is for me to give an opinion on that. I don't know what the culture is within his community or the black community in general, or just the BIPOC community with regards to how to discuss those topics. But I'm here to listen. I'm here to have the conversation. And as far as I know, I'm the only person that's even broaching the subject because, look, they're not even talking about it. And they're deleting people that are commenting on their things. And maybe that's because they're coming up with a strategy. You know, there's always the don't take 2 months to respond, but the first response is always going to be the worst one. So maybe a couple days, maybe a long weekend, figure this out before you respond. I am going to scan down to the most recent comments just because I know I missed a lot, and me trying to read all of them is kind of a pain in the butt. But Sarah said, giving grace is just a start. People do have to learn. I know I've said ignorant things when I was younger. Well, somebody I know commented. They were like, someone I know commented and they go, I just can't believe it. How do they not know to delete their tweets? I took that person and I searched a few words on Twitter, fat, a couple other words, and I was like, whoa. And I sent them what they said 10 years ago. And they go, holy crap, what the hell? And I go, yeah, well, look, the goal posts are moving, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing that we're not just worried about the R word, the N word, a few different words. We're worried about context of shame. But at the same time, I don't know who Justin and Andrew, I don't know who they were responding to or the context of their conversation. What we know now is this is public. And, you know, when you have 14 followers or whatever they might have had 10 years ago as a 14-year-old, you can't help but understand what they were going through. But I think there would be a lot of grace given if they just talk about it. You know, I, for one, do not pretend to be in any place of moral superiority here. All right. So anyway, I don't want to talk about the whole thing about that, but I might have to make another video tomorrow. If anyone wants to DM me or whatever, and you know, I need to talk more about colorism, but you know, there is a place where my channel exists, and I don't know if it's talking about some of those things. I don't know about that. You know, this obviously is different than Rachel Kirkconnell's case, because Rachel Kirkconnell, a white girl, I know her parents were, no. If you can walk into a 7-Eleven and look like a white girl, you're going to be treated like a white girl, right? So and that's just, that's what it comes down to. It's your perception of people. No one cares about my sad story or this upbringing or that upbringing. They see me as a guy. They can go, you know, have the privilege to not get followed around. You know, I get it. I totally get it. Hello, Crafty Beach. Good to see ya. Good to see you. So yeah, it's a conversation worth having. But as far as we talk about moving forward now, Mike says I cannot imagine being a comedian. Some people think I am funny, but in no way would I be a comedian. Comedy is so much more about the syncopation and art of word choice, and it's so easy to see when you see it. Like hitting words, it's almost like I look at it like if you're a gymnast, your whole routine's fine, but if you don't stick that landing, and that landing might be the punchline. Oh, Hannah with a $15 super chat, thank you so much. Oh, let me get my thing up over here. So there will be a few times today that I need to check my maps just to make sure the traffic will be fine where I'm going. If you guys know, if you live in Southern California, this is just something you have to do when you when you have to get where it is you need to go. The traffic can change on a dime. I think we'll be fine. I built in a 30-minute window there. I can't tell you how many times I've had shows where I'm getting there and I'll be like the last one on stage, and like I'm texting them like I'm 10 minutes away. I'm at a red light. Oh, the show, you got to be here in 9 minutes. Okay, you know, park. immediately as walking in and they're announcing me as I'm walking on stage. It is, but that's just how it works. Or also there's been times when you'll be a comic on stage and the next comic's not there yet, and you'll see someone in the back go like that, like keep going. And you need to go, all right, instead of doing a 10-minute set, we're doing a 20-minute set. And then they're like, all right, someone's here. They're like, okay, well that's it. Are you guys ready? And then you just gotta, the more jokes and bits you learn, the more you just have to have them ready to go. The hardest part with me right now is how long and slow how do I say this? The last year and a half, I just haven't done as much stand-up as the previous 8 years. So it's just been hard to like get that flow going. I've had so much self-hatred. Not that I'm like crying or losing sleep over it, but so much just like, what the hell am I even doing? You know what I mean? But that's kind of part of the process when you get back into it. It's like if you're trying to lose a bunch of weight and you're just like, all right, I'm not going to see results right away, but I got to get out there. I got a joke about having a villain face that I'm going to be doing. So this is all I wrote for tonight. This is just some jokes that I'll be doing. Just wrote this down. Yeah, I look like a villain. I can't even tell you guys how that joke goes because I feel like it's not going to come off right. But I'll show you in the Patreon. Just go talk to them like I'm talking to you guys. Yeah, my personality is not the same. It's not like a nerves thing. It's like, it's like a perfectionism thing, It's like I should have gotten a pandemic loan for car batteries. Yeah, well, Tasha's gonna hire me. Have I ever bombed? If you don't bomb, you're not trying hard enough. Yeah, one of my worst bombs. I bombed in front of a rocket science convention. It sounds like a made up story. I bombed. The sound was off, so there was an echo the whole time. So it was so messed up. I couldn't hear myself think. And as I was walking to the stage, as I was being introduced, some guy like got in my way, and I had a glass of red wine because it was like this fancy rocket science convention. And I spilt my wine on him, and everyone was like, "Oh, dude, what the hell?" So like this little pocket hated me, not really realizing I was a comic walking onto stage, and the set got worse from there. My worst bomb was right before the pandemic hit, which was like a bad way to go into the pandemic. But for every time that happens, you have these nights where like things slow down, and you like if you've ever like really studied for a test, you just feel so confident, and you just like you can see. You just know everything that's on the test. That's like a good set where you're like, oh, everything I'm doing is working. They like me. The hardest part is building empathy with an audience because as soon as you get on stage, they have to look at you and be like, why are you going to make me laugh? Some comics have a built-in premise. If they're very large, if they've got big boobs, if they've got a mullet, the beautiful part about comedy is how much diversity is spoken about on stage and all that. So like there's so much just like talking about your upbringing and how, the one thing I tell people, the easiest joke to write is jokes about your family, because even if you are doing an audience that comes from a different world as yours, they're still going to get your family jokes. It's the most common denominator. Hunter say you need a comedy tour so we can all see you. Yeah, I'm still working on that. I need to build a bigger following because right now I've got like 3 people in every city. I need like 50 to 60 people in every city. And if they decide to come to a show and bring a couple friends, then we can do a comedy show. Big Bachelor recapper energy. No. By all means, I'm not worried about tonight. I'm doing a show at a pizza place. I've done comedy for 10 years. I mean, it's going to be fine. But, it's more about, like I bought this these stupid daily planners, right? You guys know I was talking about this. So I can like write in all the things, all of my like, this one's great because it has your schedule, your to-do list, your meals, your notes, good things that happened today. And I'm not doing a good enough job. Like I get hyper obsessed with creating content, and I need to do a better job of like taking the time off to do the other things, even if it means I'll be making less money. So like I just become obsessive over things. So like that means like taking the time off to go write comedy versus just rant on here. But this has been a nice sort of a muscle to work. Like I'm sure my brain is firing differently after a year or so of live streaming than it did before. You know, it's definitely a different muscle. So what do you guys think of all these new Bachelorette people? Who's your favorite? Who do you guys like? Oh, Tasha just got home. Melissa says, you love that hustle culture, but you got to do self-care. Absolutely. Tasha, are you home? Oh, I thought that was the dog. I just want to make sure. Brendan and Piper. Yeah, Carly said, let's talk about Bachelor in Paradise. Now, without giving any spoilers, yeah, Brendan and Piper were dating, but we don't know if they were official. We'll see what happens. They go on the show. Real beautiful. This reminds me of that Rainforest Cafe. I went through this all in a video already, but cute outfits, right? Grocery store Joe. Yeah, he'll be on it with his ex, so that there's no way that's going to go well. Choni girl says, Sebastian Maniscalco talks about his Italian dad. He's great. Isn't he great, Sebastian? This season will be pretty wild as far as you know, what goes down with all the new people and storylines and having a year off. It'll be pretty, you know, we'll have to see, like, is Victoria, you know, because also we have two Victorias, right? Victoria L and Victoria P. Is that what her name is? She was kind of a villain, right? I almost don't even remember her season. Yeah, Rudy would have been great, Cora. She would have been great on this season. I can't believe they didn't put together a Listen to Your Heart band. What were they thinking? Even if they weren't on the air that much, just have a band going every day. I don't know. Janelle says, Victoria L looks so different. I'm wondering if the comments from Matt James' friends made her change her body. You know, it's a good question. I wouldn't think that, you know, but then again, who knows? Who knows? All right, so those were the first photos. I guess, oh, here's some more. Okay, I didn't see these photos. The girls are posing trying to look like supermodels. Yeah, well, you got to know your angles. Natasha and Joe said it's crazy. They barely got to talk to each other, and they would rate it a 15 out of 10 on how crazy it was. You know, Wells is saying the same thing. Now, obviously, they want to get good ratings, but yeah, that's pretty interesting to see there. Abigail, I think she might get lucky, you know. This is fun. Is this a shirt? Is this a shirt or a bikini? I guess that's a bikini, right? Or like just a top? I don't know. What do I know? Yeah, lots of people in there. Jane says, anyone from Listen to Your Heart on? I don't believe so. I don't believe we have anyone from Listen to Your Heart. They really got a bad rap. You know, the Listen to Your Heart premiered right when the pandemic started. You know, they weren't able to tour. Really got a bad rap. Let me ask you guys this. Do you guys compliment people more so if you... Now, how do I want to say this? Because I don't want to come off the wrong way. Do you guys think that you give more love to the people that aren't as dominating in there? Like, we've got like people like Piper. She's a model, right? But then you have someone like Abigail who's clearly not a model, but she's pretty and she's kind and she seems really nice. But my question is, do you think we sort of coddle, maybe that's not the right word, contestants that sorry, Kim, I just clicked the wrong button there. I'm trying not to ban anyone accidentally. Do you guys understand what I'm asking? Do you think we become fans of people like Michael A because we know he's not like the big stud, he's underdog? That's what I'm asking. Do you think we kind of root for an underdog like an Abigail, who I would say is an underdog? I mean, she doesn't have like the sort of she won't command the attention of say like like a Mari. Am I pronouncing Mari? Jasenia. And then we've got a motivational speaker over here, Carl Boy. Bethany says yes, because we relate to them probably. Well, I ask because when it comes to building empathy, a lot of times when we can see someone's flaws, and again, I'm not saying these are flaws, but when we can see someone who's not perfect, I think it's easier to like root them on. You see this in other reality shows where like you're rooting on the guy who's kind of down on his luck. You're rooting on the guy who's not the perfect guy, and part of it is probably because you see that perfect guy, and you think, all right, he's okay. Like he's fine. We don't need to root for him. He'll be okay. I don't know. I'm not saying it's a right or wrong thing. It's just interesting to think about. We have some hate for Carl. Well, let's give Carl a chance. Let's give Carl a chance. That's what's beautiful about Bachelor in Paradise. There's a lot more like philandering that goes on. That's not like just, I feel like there's more conversations in group settings. So between Victoria Larson and Carl, we'll definitely get a better chance to see what these people are actually like. Kelsey, I really liked Kelsey. She was accused of like all these things. She had a real hard time hanging with the girls because she's probably never been like, had anyone like call her out and say she's like drinking too much or has a problem with this or that. And I think, and I'm just projecting here, but it felt like it'll be interesting to see how she deals with people, because I actually thought she was a pretty chill person other than the sort of episodes that she had. Bethany says, I think so, as they are more like us. If they are kind, have something interesting, and they remind you of a friend, I root for them more. Oh, that's so true. Like Riley reminds me of a friend of mine who passed away, and I just like, but he reminds me of my friend because they seem both very introspective and like smart and kind. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm the same way. I'm always rooting for somebody if I feel like, but Kenny's another one. Kenny's another guy that like, I feel like he's got F-boy energy, which I get, but I think he's actually way kinder and has way more depth than what meets the eye. Which I'm always thinking of this because so often in my own world, I'll have a made up, a prejudice towards people. I'll be like, oh, this guy's going to be this way. And sometimes in my own life, I become really good friends with someone. I go, man, I was so wrong. I made so many judgments about somebody that weren't true. And I think Kenny, we're going to see him be like a good guy. We'll have to see. Crafty Beach says, Dave, where's your favorite Maddie? Well, I could make some jokes about that, but let's just say I haven't seen her around in a little bit. I am going to not get in trouble. She's at an eyelash convention. Come on, folks. Eyelash, whatever. They got stuck. They couldn't fit in her carry-on. Okay, all right. Let's get some music going. Let's get some, music. I'm gonna search beach and see what we can find. See if we can find some beach music here for you fine people. 185 people, not bad. Not a bad crowd we have right now. We're going to go, like I said, right to the 5 o'clock. Maybe I might even end 10 minutes early, guys, just so I don't stress out. I might end 10 minutes early so I don't stress out. We'll have to see. Let's get some comments. Oh, you know what? Let's go to some voicemails. I don't know. I haven't asked anyone if they're calling in, but let's see if anyone has any voicemails. We can talk about anything you guys want. Give me a second here. This is a non-Bachelor in Paradise voicemail, but that's fine too. So let's play this voicemail from British Columbia, Canada. Very beautiful.
Hi, Dave. I love your show. It's Linda from British Columbia, up here in Canada. I just wanted to say that I might not be popular for saying this, but I know a lot of people are not liking Aaron for being so snarky. I think he's a grumpy bear because it doesn't suit him being in a competition where they're all dating the same woman, the same lady. And I think that he is a man's man and he has a lot of testosterone. And I just think the competition doesn't suit him. I kind of like him. And I just loved how when they went out in the group date and they played the game and he leapt into the air. I think he's so athletic and his abs, he's so hot.
Linda.
But I think take him out of that competition and I bet he'd lighten up and he'd be nicer. But anyways, that's my 2 cents worth. But yeah, he is a grumpy bear. Love your show. Bye.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you for your Canadian 2 cents. 2 pence, none the richer. Look, yeah, I mean, some people just don't do well on the show if they're introverted or they're jealous or they're competitive. I mean, yeah, some people are way better. Like, you'll never see someone like Connor Brennan. You're not going to see him having any beef with anybody. He's a musician. He's a teacher. He's used to have 30 screaming brats running around the classroom. He can handle a little of these people. And again, I could stand corrected, but Aaron, obviously, it's like on the prowl to see his competition, and maybe that's an insecurity because maybe the relationship's not where he thinks it could be. Not really sure. Now, Janelle says, why do you not like Maddie? It's kind of one of those things where, like, I'm not actively trying to, like, cancel her. I'm not actively trying to group anyone else. She's just, that's the one that's like, you know, we're not, you know, oh, that's the one. It's probably because it feels to me like she centers, like, a lot of her personality around her religion, which, you know, I'm not against. I don't know much about her. I don't know. You know, you just got to choose someone that's like, you know, you don't get them. I'm sure if I met her in an airport terminal, we would be perfectly pleasant. All right, Heather in Santa Clarita.
Neal family, this is Heather from Santa Clarita. I really need your help. This isn't about Bachelor stuff, but tomorrow I am interviewing in Redondo Beach. I'm a special education preschool teacher, and I really, really want this job. I really want to move to Redondo Beach. I know, Dave, you're around that area, so you know how nice that Redondo Beach area is. I really need your thoughts, and if you're not a prayer, if you don't pray, just keep me in your thoughts. I really need it. I would love to come to you guys next week and say that I got the job. Thanks for all your support, Neal family. I'll see you in a bit.
Heather, bye. we've got some energy we're sending your way. Absolutely. Maddie's praying for you right now. Redondo's a great area. Here's where you need to let go from needing the outcome. You know, take this from me. When you audition, they say you need to not need the gig. All right? It's just like if you're like wanting to go on a date with someone. You need to not need the gig. You need to frame it like they need you. And it might be great, but it might not be. It might not be the right gig. It might be the gig you don't get before you get the big one. And so I'm not saying that to let you down. I'm just saying that to go in there, get some good music on, like your last 10 minutes before you get in there. Get some good jams on. Get that energy going, right? Get it. You know, do a haka. You know, get out there, feel good. Deep breaths. When we interview, when we audition, when we perform, our fight or flight mode happens and it releases all the adrenaline, and then we talk too much, and that's nervous energy. So control your breath. Try your best, try your breast to control your breath. Try your breast to control your breast. You got to control your breast by all means, but control your breath as well. So deep breaths, oxygenate yourself, go in there, smile, and just let that calmness take over. You've done what you need to do to get up to this point, and you're going to hit it out of the park. Whether they decide that they're a good fit for you, that's out of your control. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be. So take a breath of fresh air. Dave should do a masterclass on public speaking. Well, I mean, but that's what it is. It's the body works against you. I have to think about this all the time. I'll get up on stage. I'm like, ah! And it's like, whoa. You need to get to their energy and then bring it up. So if you're at a 7 and they're at a 6, that's okay. But if they're at a 6 and you're at a 10, oh boy, you know what I mean? So start there and ping pong your way up to a high energy and get out of there, rocket, and let them be the ones who want you and your energy. You got this. And if you don't, it's because it wasn't meant to be. But you've done what you need to do, and you got this. And everyone's wishing you good luck in the comment section. Good luck in the comment. We need an Ask Dave live where we just all ask for advice. Yeah, I mean, call in. She sent that a few hours ago, so I hope it went well. Here's a comment we got. Let's go to this voicemail. I don't know who this is.
Right. I'm maybe coming late to the live stream. I am just now getting ready to leave my dog's in job to go home, but I have to get some flowers. I have to cry here. One of my clients' dogs passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
This morning. Last night. Comment, he was a 14-year-old. My brain can't think. He was a 14-year-old border collie mix. He was one of the sweetest dogs. So I'm going to, because, I've known him for over 3 years. Sorry, I don't want to cry. But I'll be with you guys shortly. If not, have a great show later on. And I'll talk to you guys soon.
Well,
okay.
Thanks for the call, Sarai. Oh, that sounds so sad. One of your clients, 14-year-old border collie mix dog passed away. We're really sorry to hear that. You're such a boy. What we would all give to have you as our dog walker. Very kind. Imagine that you're walking dogs. I'm doing a live. We got a maybe Sarai. We should start a business where I live stream just to dog walkers. Okay, me and Boone will just live stream to you guys. But I'm sorry to hear that, and I hope the chat. Yeah, when you get here, definitely go check out that chat. They're sending you some nice love. So lots of love to Heather and Sarai, and I appreciate you guys both kind of being part of this crowd. Really, you guys have been great. Let's see. This was a call. This was from a few days ago. I don't want to. I'm gonna save this one. I'm gonna save that. I'm making a video about. I'm probably gonna make another video about the loan situation. The big media is starting to pick up on a lot of the loan fraud. So it'll be interesting to see if these stories about the different contestants and their PPP loans gets any bigger steam. As we know, I didn't even bring this up in my video yesterday, but Tasha Adams was on Good Morning America, and this is why it's such a crock of shit. She's on Good Morning America. She has a chance to talk to the world, and she doesn't even address it. And I get it. The majority of the world don't know that she even has her own PPP scandal. So like, I guess you're not supposed to mention it, but it's like, wouldn't it be nice for people to like not wait until like they're under the knife to like comment on these things and actually get ahead of the story? Wouldn't that be nice? I don't know. I'm trying to, Anna says she just caught the stream and you lost your dog to dementia. Some days are still difficult. Oh, absolutely. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to make that so big. Yeah, it can be tough. And that's the power of like why dogs are so lovable and yet they only live a smaller amount of time. It forces us to cope with where we are in life and reality. It's kind of like what Michael A was saying. I mean, it's almost like we're better off. And again, we're a pretty like loving crowd here, but we're almost better off. It's almost easier for us to talk about our dogs than it is for fellow humans, because dogs we know aren't gonna live as long as us, but fellow humans we sort of like just like knock on wood and just pretend like, well, I hope we all just kind of make it to, we're gonna beat the system. And Michael A, when he comes and tells us about how like it was his wife's anniversary or his wife's birthday and how hard that hit people like Greg Grippo. You get to see like people that like they've been to hell and back, so they understand like those warnings to say, hey, enjoy it. And it's kind of like, what is it? What's the saying? Something's wasted on the youth. Whatever the saying is, it's like you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know what you have until it's gone. And that's kind of how it is, unless you have some sort of near-death experience or something, which we had a few weeks ago with our dog, where we're like, oh my gosh, not that we didn't, love him already, but Cora says pets are said to be so loving and give so much because they have a shorter lifespan and they want to give you enough to last your lifetime. So after they're gone, they're still with you. Well, how kind is that? That's so kind to hear. Sorry, I gotta adjust the size on these. All right. Yeah, so anyway, youth is wasted on the young. How could I mess that up? Youth is wasted on the young. How funny is that? We all know how it is. And again, hey, I'm young relatively, I guess, but like, I'm also old as hell when it comes to other people. It's so funny within stand-up because you do shows with people based on like how long you've done comedy, not necessarily how old you are. So like I might be on a show with a 20-year-old and a 50-year-old, and we've all done stand-up like the same amount of time. It's kind of cool. When you talk about age and how it relates to like your perceived age, your biological age versus like how old you feel. I have no like desire to do any sort of like Botox or things like that, but also I don't blame people who do. But for me, and again, maybe like no amount of Botox is going to get you this guy's abs, and he's my age. Like this guy's just in great shape. Now don't get me wrong, maybe he's on T or whatever workout stuff he does, but like there is something to be said about like the vanity of like wanting to take care of your body. It's like mind, body, soul, right? How good's the soul if you're just like clunking around? And I got my stepdad's in rough shape. Like he's doing okay, but he's never taking care of his body. So like when you see a 60-year-old who doesn't take care of their body versus someone who does. I mean, they're like biological age can be like a 30 or 40 year difference. And it's like all you want is like your friends to be able to hang with you and not feel pain and things like that, your family. Melissa said, I maybe just did a little Botox. Hey, I'm not judging. I'm not judging on the Botox. Susan says, my mindset will keep me young. Well, not these gray hairs that are coming in. Come on now. I've never been the one, I've always wondered, would I dye my hair? But only if it all came in one thing and it looked weird. But at the same time, whatever. I mean, it's not something I'm really thinking about. Bree says, I've been getting Botox for years. I'm 30 and my mom doesn't accept it. Well, the whole thought with Botox is that if you get the right amount when you're young, it's more preventative than when you're older. Well, that's what they tell you though, right? I don't know. Do what makes you happy. The problem I have is when people get too much and it restricts who they are, Yeah, but then again, if it makes them happy, if they want to be that way, fine. But some people well, and I get it. If it costs you $200 for I'm going to make up terms because I don't know the terms, but say it costs you $200 for 20 cc, but they tell you you only need 16. But you got to pay for the 20. Yeah, throw it in there. It's that way when I used to, and this is something I don't have a joke about, but I've always wanted to talk about tanning salons. Cause I went to tanning salons in college and you'd go to the 20-minute tanning salon and then they'd be like, all right, how many minutes do you want? And you go, 20, I want 20 minutes. I paid for 20. And they go, I think you should get 12. And you go, I'll do 16. And then the next day you're like, my ass is so burnt. And Brie, the good thing with Botox is it's not going under the knife. So if you mess it up, it's not the end of the world, But we're going to be talking more about this with regards to Claire, who's got breast implant illness. And, we had this conversation last time. Some people probably don't have any problems with it, and some people do. And some people can drink alcohol and they're not an alcoholic, and some people can't. Our bodies all kind of react differently to things. Botox and filler to me is pretty chill. I will eventually get it maybe in my 40s since I got that Asian fountain of youth or whatever. Oh, that Asian fountain of youth. It'd be funny if you weren't Asian. You're like, yeah, no, I just got it. I don't know what it is. Someone who got sick after Botox, so she stopped doing it. Amber had gray hair since high school. I'm 34 now and have learned how to dye them myself. My sister, who's only 11 months older than me, is full head of gray hair, but she's also had 4 kids. And I'm like, you've birthed children. I feel like. So Bree says, does your wife get it? My fiance, and that would be her story to tell. But I will say, she's in her 30s, and I think she tries to look as natural as possible. But with that said, that's her story to tell. I can't be on here talking about other people. You know what I mean, guys? Never tried the tanning bed. I hear you there. Melissa said, I've had gray since 26. My job was stressful. Yeah, I mean, gray's, I've always considered myself to be a stress-free person, to an extent, but I don't know if that's, I'm 36. I have an uncle who had all grays at 18. Part of it's just, if you're going to get grays, you're going to get grays. Anna says, I'm approaching my mid-30s and just started noticing subtle smile wrinkles and subtle forehead ones as well. Yeah, I've always had see, these lights, I think these lights are good for me because when you're lit, when the light's coming at you, you don't see wrinkles and things. And again, not that I'm vain to care about that, but I like to be well lit because I have deep inset eyes. So if the light's above me, you're just going to see shadows everywhere. And that's not good for YouTube. Jenna said, I guess you were 32. I don't feel a day over 22. I'll tell you that. Tasha, who are you talking to? Oh, tell her I said hi. Keelan Bristow, Botox. Well, so Bree, here's the deal. Hard stop for me, and I know you're just asking. Hard stop for me on judging if someone went too far with what they do. Obviously, she doesn't look the same as she used to. What can you do? She's not hurting anybody. That's the thing. She's not hurting anybody. Who knew we were going to talk about gray hairs. Should we do a skin day where we just talk about skin? I've been using St. Ives face scrub, and someone told me they were canceled. I still don't know why. I don't know why St. Ives is. Yeah, I'm lit. I got so many lights. I just got this new light over here. So I have two of these that come right at me, and then I got my main ring light, and then I have lights that light the back wall because the lighting has to be perfect for that. Oh, Spring says I could pass for 30. Well, geez, thank you. My fingers are dry. What the hell was I doing? Feels like I had like... You ever use too much like do the dishes and your hands are dry? All right. I noticed that because I'm trying to use my mouse over here. All right, this isn't productive for anybody. Yeah, wrinkles, I mean, like, look, yeah, smile lines. It's like, all right, I know guys have it easier that, like, we're not looked at with such like a critical eye. Like, I totally understand that. And, and part of that's, I don't know. It's society. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, Caitlin's Caitlin. She's who she is. So what can you do? She's got a nice soul. She seems happy. Lots of water. Don't smoke cigarettes. Yeah, I definitely don't drink enough water. That's another thing. I definitely don't drink enough water. I drink a lot of coffee. But coffee has the free radicals, which is supposed to be good for you. But I could definitely drink more water. I didn't go to the dentist for the longest time before this year. There's certain things that I'm just afraid to do. I put off the dentist for the longest time. And I'll tell you why. Part of it's like living in a different big city. You think it's going to be like an astronomical cost. And chances are it might actually be cheaper because there's better healthcare in large cities. That's just a fact, right? There's better healthcare. You're more competitive for it. But I was so nervous. I had to get a tooth pulled. This is like the middle of the pandemic. It was nerve-wracking. Oh my gosh, the photo. This thing just got destroyed in my mouth from not going to the dentist. And now, but Anna says everyone says St. Ives is horrible for your skin. My thought is this: could it be that it's bad for women's skin? Could it be that men's skin it's actually good for it and men need more microdermabrasion? Is St. Ives bad for skin? Let's figure this out. Unfortunately for consumers, use of St. Ives as a facial exfoliant leads to long-term skin damage that outweighs... Whoa! No! The primary exfoliant ingredient is crushed walnut shell, which is... Yeah, that's hilarious. Which has jagged edges that causes micro tears in the skin when using in a scrub. All right, but who paid for that study? I guess this is in a lawsuit. Is it really that bad? No, now I'm going to search, like hoping that it's not as bad. I'm going to like, is it okay for men? Is it okay? All right. Maybe I won't use it. Oh, but everyone's saying don't use St. Ives. Well, what if I've been using St. Ives my whole life and I look good? You said I look younger than my age. I don't know. Maybe, Everyone says don't use that crap. All right. I don't know. Bree says, I'm subscribing to Dave. He's neutral in all his responses, and we need more of those. Well, I definitely got some heat from some people today that I wasn't giving enough grace to the affected people. The problem I had with Justin and Andrew is that they're people. Their fat phobia and everything. Sure, it affects a large... No, pun intended right there. Actually, the pun wasn't intended, then I heard it, so then I did intend it. So there's a pun there. Point being, they're like, we already litigated it. We already talked about it. What's wrong with St. Ives? Yeah, everyone wants to know. Microabrasions, but I thought that's what you do with microdermabrasions. Don't they want you to do that? I don't know. Natalie says start using the stuff Tasha got. Tasha doesn't let me use her stuff. I have to sneak her stuff in. She'll have like this little thing. I'll be like, what does that do? She's like, lay off of my stuff. All right. Well, what should I do? Should I throw out the rest of my St. Ives? Hold on, my skin's falling apart now. Now I just got itchy thinking about it all. Tear my skin. What if it's okay? What if it's okay for men? Ika says, I thought you were 30 before you said you're... Well, thank you guys. If you saw me on a bad day, I'd look like Quasimodo. No offense to him. Great stuff in the Patreon. Yeah, thanks to all the Patreon members. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to get out of here. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to export the Reality Steve thing now. Like, I'm literally going to open up my Premiere Pro so I can export that. That'll be up tomorrow. That's an hour-long conversation. It's a good one. I'd love your feedback, pros or cons. I will post on the Patreon my like afterthoughts to it, like what I thought went well, what I thought didn't, what I thought didn't go well, and all that jazz. There'll be tons of other content coming out tomorrow on the Patreon. I have been trying to like throw in extra stand-up, some extra, other stuff for you guys if you want to join. Again, no pressure. I appreciate everyone that joins and donates on here and does all these things. Just subscribing to the main channel is good enough for me. You better start getting ready to go 10 minutes early. That's right. So anyway, let's call it a day. I'll post on my Instagram story some updates on how everything's going. So if anyone wants to go check out my Instagram story, I'll post some updates once I get to the show. I'm going to try to steal a couple extra minutes now that Tasha's home so I can give her a big fat hug and all that jazz. But thank you guys. Oh, Cora with a super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And the Patreon live stream I'll do on either Saturday morning or Sunday afternoon. I think Saturday morning. Leave a comment on Patreon if you prefer Saturday morning or Sunday evening. Which one's better? I'll do a poll. You know what I'll do is I'll do a poll on my Instagram story. That's a good way to do it. I am not in New Jersey. I haven't been in New Jersey. I've never lived in New Jersey. I used to live in Harlem, but I've been in LA for 7 years. Okay, no St. Ives. I got it. I understand. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do. I still have a couple bucks left. Sarai with $5. Thank you, Sarai, and thank you for your nice voicemail. Sorry, Billy with 5. Sorry, I guess I'm a few minutes late trying to go through all these. Thank you guys so much. I think I got to everybody. Thank you. And I think a few of you guys are actually going to be at the stand-up show tonight. So if you are coming to the show in Moore Park, let me know and definitely say hi because I never know what people look like when they're coming to shows. But if you're coming to the show, say hi to me. If not, I have a show tomorrow night in Hollywood. It'll be a fun little room in Hollywood if anyone wants to come to that show. All right, folks. Thanks so much for spending time with me. I appreciate it. Bye, guys. Thanks, everybody.